I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, them. And I'm gonna tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state. And of course, as always, I'm upset.
Maize and Blue Nation, it's Tom Brady. I co-founded Autograph with one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. That's why I'm excited to announce the release of a new app that recognizes the biggest Michigan fans. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best Michigan content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines, all for doing the things you already do, like listening to this podcast. Head over to the Apple App Store and search for Autograph Rewarding Fans and download today.
Good evening, good people. It is I, 3 times. I am here for all the smoke. I know it's coming. Pause. We got a lot to talk about, all right? As you can see, and thank you all for staying and having faith that I would come on, because there was a moment where I was gonna cancel this thing. I was gonna just walk away, but the only Santa we acknowledge is Ono, and he came through in a big way for us. Tony Petitti, the new Big Ten commissioner, met with the University of Michigan brass. They sat down. He presented what he thought was hardcore evidence to suggest that the University of Michigan should suspend or take it further with Coach Jim Harbaugh. None of that happened. Santa told him respectfully, thank you, no thank you. There was a report first that the mastermind behind all of this, Connor Stallions, was fired. That was cleared up. He resigned. He is a legend, by the way. Now, he's not a legend for putting Michigan in this position where we have to defend the university as Michigan fans, and where the university has to defend itself, and where Jim Harbaugh's integrity and more is called into question. By the way, there is supposedly evidence, or I'm sorry, that has been debunked now, but someone reported erroneously, by the way, that there was evidence that linked Jim Harbaugh to being the mastermind behind all of this. Of course, like as I said, that was promptly and swiftly debunked. If you're here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button. I'm trying to hold off on the comments because I know they're gonna be lit. We're gonna get to your comments. I promise. We're gonna talk about it. Shout out to my guy Antoine for holding it down while I delayed coming on. But as I was saying, you saw the different time switches. At first, it was 8 o'clock, 8:15, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. It was all because I was trying to get all the information before I came on here and gave my take. Now, this is what we do know. We do know, and by the way, the thumbnail is a little misleading because the thumbnail has emergency meeting. It wasn't necessarily an emergency meeting. It was the weekly coaches meeting, which is separate from the weekly athletic directors meeting with the Big Ten commissioner. However, what wasn't misleading is that in the last 20 minutes of the coaches meeting, Jim Harbaugh recused himself, right? So that the other coaches could feel safe talking about him while he wasn't there and about the Michigan program, because they needed safety. They needed a safe space to talk about Jim Harbaugh, legend, while he wasn't there. What a joke. And the same for Ward Manuel, the athletic directors, Ward Manuel had to recuse himself the last several minutes of that meeting because the athletic directors apparently needed safety as well, in a safe space to talk about Michigan while Michigan wasn't in the room, which is odd because this whole thing stems from sign stealing and allegedly, by the way, in Michigan doing things that covertly while they weren't paying attention or watching or aware of. So that now that they get this space with the commissioner to talk about the program while they aren't aware, it's very weird. It's very odd. However, in that athletic directors, in the AD's meeting especially, the tenor was that these ADs wanted punishment for the Wolverines. They swiftly, they want it now, and Tony Petitti needed to hand it out. Tony Petitti, according to the reports coming out of the meeting with Santa Ono, wasn't by the way, it was Santa Ono, some regents. I also believe Ward Manuel was there as well. And shout out to Ward for finally having some spine, right? Showing some backbone, even though I'm pretty sure he didn't do the talking. It was Santa, but at least he was there as a figurehead while someone stood up for Jim Harbaugh and the football program for once. And basically, it came down to a situation where they were like, yo, if you got what you think you got, show us. And if it is what you say it is, then do something about it. And I do believe that that is the right approach. And Santa Ono putting the onus on the Big Ten, putting the onus on the NCAA to take action, right? Because, by the way, if they do, when they do, if they do, then the university still reserves the option of a lawsuit depending on what comes of this. So let's be very honest about this thing. There's no way at some point, if punishment is levied by either one of those institutions, whether it be the Big Ten or the NCAA, that the courts aren't involved. That's gonna happen, at least by the posturing of the Michigan brass at this moment, by the posturing of Santa Ono, by Ward Manuel being drugged by his ear by Santa Ono to stand up, right? Ward Manuel is like that kid that got beat up. He came running to mom, which is Santa Ono, pause, because I'm not, let's say dad. He came running to dad because I know it's going to be some people that were like, oh, but the gender role and blah, blah, blah. All right, anyway, he came running to dad. Dad told him, go back out there and fight. And that's basically what Santa Ono did, dragging him by his ear back into the fight. And they finally stood up for Jim Harbaugh. Round of applause for that. Golf claps for that. Okay, let's get into this other thing. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, that worm of a head coach that they have, that coward who was out searching for Lou Holtz after they won a football game that was in the balance, right? By the way, Lou Holtz never told a lie on that man, by the way, in his football program. They are soft with a capital T. Shout out to the Buckeye fans in attendance here tonight, because I know you're here. I know you're waiting. And I'm going to get to y'all. But apparently Michigan presented documents that showed that tied Ryan Day to two separate private investigation firms. By the way, let me say that again, because I had a little dust up with somebody in the comment section earlier. Private investigation firm. All right. Hooked on phonics, failed you as a child, and somehow private investigation firm read law firm to you, which I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. You made a mistake. It's okay. I've made mistakes. Apparently the Big Ten is making a mistake thinking they could push Santa Ono and Michigan around, but that's neither here nor there. So, and two private investigation firms have been tied to Ryan Day. This according to the Michigan media, and other media members who are still gathering information about that. Um, the Ryan Day's brothers, both of them have been named in this. Christopher Day, as well as the other brother whose name escapes me at the moment. But if that is true, then obviously there's a whole other can of worms that has been open. Now, I will say this, even as a Michigan fan, if Michigan is proven, by the way, not just found, is proven to have circumvented the rules in a way that is illegal by the bylaws in the NCAA, right? If that is the case, and if Jim Harbaugh is complicit in all of that, then I will say Michigan has to stand on business, right? Like, you got to go ahead and take that L. Now, that said, and I say that to say, if you did these things, it doesn't matter that somebody else found this evidence or dug up this evidence. To a degree, that doesn't matter. However, the fact that the other state couldn't handle getting beat, couldn't handle the back-to-back beatdowns, and what's going to be a third beatdown in late November, because trust me, enough is not being talked about in terms of the football. And the football that is being played between these two teams right now is light years apart. The other state university is struggling to score points. They have an 18.5. They're an 18.5 point favorite this weekend against Rutgers in New Jersey, in Teaneck, or wherever they play, Rappahannock, Tappa, whatever, wherever Rutgers plays home games, which is basically another home game for the other state. I've been there during an Ohio State Rutgers game, and it was like 70-30 Ohio State. That being said, that's neither here nor there. The point is, they're 18.5 point favorites in that game. They're going to struggle to get to 18 points. Rutgers, and everybody wanted to make fun of the Michigan schedule. Everybody had their keys in their labs at the Michigan schedule. Rutgers happens to be on that schedule. Rutgers happens to be a top 15 defense. They were a top 10 defense until, I believe, last week or the week before. They're still like 12th in the nation in defense. They play defense. The other state is going to struggle to get those 18 points. But I digress. The point is that the football between Michigan and that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus is worlds apart presently. And Michigan is playing by far the better football. Michigan has a Heisman candidate quarterback. Granted, Marvin Harrison Jr. is that guy, and I will concede that. However, he plays a dependent position, and dependent on how well Kyle McCord is throwing that day determines how effective Marvin Harrison Jr. is in terms of his impact on the game. All right. And I know he impacts the game even when he's not catching it. So the people who with their Twitter fingers getting ready to tweet or to chat that, oh, well, you know, he does other things. I understand that. I get it. The attention that he garners is the attention he garners. He also is a halfway decent blocker at that position. That's not going to be enough. I'm looking at you, that vile, disgusting fan base, and telling you that's not going to be enough. And unless somehow Petitti blocks this game from happening, or the NCAA blocks this game from happening, which isn't going to be the case for the NCAA because we know they move as slow as a snail in molasses. That's not going to happen. So the Big Ten is going to have to step in, which, you know, he's already tried to put that onus on Santa. And even if he does step in, the litigation will that Michigan, by the way, the lawsuit that Michigan levies will not prevent that game from happening. The game's going to happen, basically, is what I'm saying. And you guys are in a bad spot. I feel sorry for Purdue this week. I know I'm all over the place, and I'm going to get to your comments here in just a second. Michigan's going to destroy Purdue in a way that you haven't seen Purdue destroyed this season, and Purdue's not a good team, and they've been destroyed. So let's get that out the way. The following week, there's Penn State. We follow that up with Maryland, and then we ended with the game where you guys, and I'm talking to you, Buckeye Nation, will be promptly dispatched. All right, let me get to these comments before I get back into what I was talking about. Let's start with the Buckeye here. We'll see you November 20. Look, I understand that you have to posture. You gotta put up the face of positivity, right? Belief, right? However, you don't mean that. You can't in your heart of hearts mean you can't wait to see Michigan on November 25th. I can guarantee you that your coach doesn't feel that way. Your coach doesn't want to make that trip to A2 in the snow, or it doesn't even matter. I'm going to remove the snow from it. It doesn't matter what the weather is. He doesn't want to make that trek to A2 to deal with this juggernaut that is Michigan football in 2023. I promise you he doesn't feel that way. Let's move on. Dexter. AJ, that guy is delusional. I don't know who that's for. It can't be for me. A freshman, Will Johnson, had Marv on lock. Will is Marv's daddy. That is the absolute truth until proven otherwise. Hey, Maxie Madman, quick thing before I go into the MSU game tomorrow. Should I wear a Michigan shirt dressed as Connor Stallion? You absolutely should. Yes, you should absolutely do that. And shout out to Portnoy, who I'm not even a huge fan of, but he says Connor Stallions has a job for life at Barstool, so shout out to that. Blank name. Will abused Marv last year. They stopped putting them on Will's side of the field. It was awesome. Absolutely. Godspeed, Marine. Godspeed. Absolutely. Godspeed to Connor Stallions. Question is, did this or these outside firms commit any federal crimes breaking into Michigan systems? If they have, they will find no mercy from Michigan administration, when charges are pressed. Absolutely. That is the question. And if that is the case, then we have a whole different problem. Michigan is no juggernaut. They're a bunch of cheaters. This is so beautiful. These guys are so caught up on the sign stealing. I've explained I'm not gonna explain that again. However, if you think Michigan, your head football coach, Ryan Day, said that he was aware of Michigan sign stealing, right? Alleged sign stealing. And because he was aware, he made changes to the offense. They didn't use the signs that Michigan stole, and he still got his rear end handed to him after the game. He still had to make that trek to midfield with his head down to shake the better man's hand. There was still 300-pound linemen crying like someone just stole their prime rib, by the way, right? There were still those fans in the stand crying like babies. All that happened, even with the knowledge, allegedly, that Michigan was stealing signs and you guys made changes. So all this cheer talk for the other state is irrelevant because you guys, according to your coach who had the information, made the changes. Miss me with anything that you have to say about Michigan cheating. We move on. Dispatched is right. Go blue, absolutely. Let me get down to some of the newer stuff. Here we go. This is my favorite. This is my guy right here. One big Bucks fan. Connor gone, Jimmy next. Shout out to you, man. Sure. My guy Antoine, thank you by the way for holding it down, Twan, while I was out. Be sure to hit that like and share button. Let me remind you guys, hit the like and share button for me. I really appreciate it. It costs you nothing, I promise. It's just something that you can easily do and is greatly appreciated by this guy. Let's get to some other comments. RICO, look it up. Yep, very aware of the RICO. Exactly. Tell those fans to look it up. If Ryan Day lined up any outside firms that committed federal crimes breaking the Michigan systems, crap is going to hit the fan. Believe me, for sure. Here go my guy, Mello, number 7. F the sign stealings. You have 50 plus hours of our practices. Here we go. Okay. I mean, I'm not at this point, as Michigan fans, I'm talking to you now, before we get back into reading some of these comments. Stand in it, stand up in it. Right? At this point, all they can do is whine about them not being a superior football team, right? Because Michigan, if this is true, has done nothing that nobody else hasn't done, except maybe, obviously there's a whole network and they got caught. And, to that degree, sure, right? The manifesto, 600-page manifesto. No, I guess nobody's done that before. Because that is a little weird, Connor Stallions. Even though you are goated, that's weird, bro. Get that checked out. And things like that. Other than that, sign stealing, that goes on. We know that, right? Trying to get an upper hand on opponents, that happens. The idea, though, that Michigan needed to steal signs from the other state to beat them, especially these last 3 years, and I'm counting this year because we're gonna dog walk you. Unfortunately for you guys, I know it's hard to believe, right? You had all those years of winning, you had all those those years of dominance, a decade of dominance, and now you just can't compute, right? It won't register what's happening. Well, let me lay it out and lay terms for you. Michigan has beefed up the offensive line. Michigan has beefed up the defensive line, even if, and I know you, because this is something else you guys like to do. Oh, we're recruiting at an elite level. Yes, you are. And golf claps to that. Golf claps, Michigan fans, to the Ohio State fans for their elite recruiting, because God knows you are, right? However, once those people step foot on that campus, what are you doing with them? Right? CJ Hicks, should I bring him up? Sonny Styles, who's just really getting some real playing time, who's a physical anomaly, right? Who should be the best safety in all of football, college or pro, with his measurables, right? He's just getting meaningful playing time. And by the way, he still looks a little raw. It's not like he's dominating when he's out there. CJ Hicks can't find the football field, all right? And I bring those people up because these are elite recruits that you guys recruited that once they are in your program aren't coached up. What happens under Ryan Day, at least, is that he gets elite talent. He just throws the elite talent on the field and expects them to figure it out. At Michigan, elite, very good talent is coached up to maximize that talent and sometimes exceed that talent. That's the difference. Anyway, those trenches have been built up. Michigan is smacking the other state in the face on either side of the ball. Michigan is running the ball down their throat. And granted, in the first half, you guys have done a decent job in stopping that run. But once those big uglies start putting the hands on the hips, once those secondary guys feeling that, that last hit from the last quarter, and they're like, they second guessing if they want to stick their nose in there to make this hit on the Don or whoever it may be, that's when you fold like cheap tents. That's when Michigan puts the proverbial foot on the throat, presses down, stops the airways, and then you have what you had last year, that young lady crying in the stands, those grown men crying in the stands. Those were grown men, by the way. Those weren't even current students. Those were grown men, maybe past students, but I doubt it. They probably work at some factory putting on door handles in Ohio. Those guys were crying, tough guys, right? That I'm sure if you caught them outside probably have a Confederate flag on their pickup truck, a dog, and an old lady crying in the stands. Anyway, all of that. And then we ran the football down your throats. JJ McCarthy made spectacular throws in the first half to keep Michigan in the game. CJ Cornelius Johnson ran precise routes. By the way, and I'm not sure if everybody saw this, Roman Wilson was open on the route that CJ was wide open for it. He had options out there. Colston Loveland gave you guys the business. The Don gave you guys the business. You were just getting it no matter where. There was no safe place for you on your field. You couldn't find a safe place. Anyway, I've spoken. I know I've been long-winded today. I'm upset. I'm upset that I have to do this tonight. I'm upset that Michigan is under the fire that they are under. But let me get back to your comments because I don't want to cheat. I don't want to shortchange anybody. I'm going to laugh if Michigan blows out Penn State and Ohio State, so people will stop crying. They only won because of the cheating. Absolutely. Shout out to Los Angeles, because you know that's what's going to happen, right? You know that they're going to say, "Oh, those wins the last couple years, since you guys have been cheating, is since you guys start winning." No, Jim Harbaugh understood the assignment. Jim Harbaugh had a very tough 2020. Michigan fans had a very tough 2020. We had to go back to the drawing board. Jim Harbaugh went back to the drawing board, figured out the way to beat those vile, disgusting, cesspool-ridden Buckeyes was to out-physical them. That's what he's been doing. Shout out to my guy, Don, with the super chat. Gene Smith's retirement. They want to rig a national title for him. Also, how many OSU grads and fans are on the playoff committee? OSU #1 over Georgia. Hit the like button, please, and thank you. Thank you, Dom. Listen to Dom. Hit that like and share button. Let's get all of them in here, and let's talk about it. Definitely Xenia family reunion, speed dating, rednecks. I know firsthand those Southeast Ohio, South Ohio are racist and described exactly as you did, Phil. Shout out to, listen, I am from, and make no doubt about it, I am from Southwest Ohio. Xenia, by the way, I have family in Xenia, and I've seen things, all right? Dayton is a rock throw away, or Xenia is a rock throw away from Dayton, because Dayton is anyway, you get it. So I know what I'm saying here. This isn't hyperbole. You know, Michigan has more KKK members than Ohio, right? I mean, that may be true. Michigan has some backwoods for sure. When I go to Michigan, it's usually Detroit or Ann Arbor. So I see what I see, but I have no doubt that is the truth. I don't want to make this about that, by the way. Let's not make this about who has more KKK members. Please, this is not the show for that. Honda McCourt would be 6-2 without Maserati Marv. Facts. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. The Honda McCourt, by the way, isn't he a little banged up? Who knows what you guys are going to have at quarterback by the time the 25th rolls around? Yeah, because you knew the players. But let's see the 25th. Whoa. We name calling? We crossing? Hold on. Because I almost got beside me. Give me 1 second. Almost got beside myself, man. Had to go get my block M. I'll keep this with me. Stupid. Wait, okay. All right. Back to regularly scheduled programming. Mello, first of all, I thought we were better than this. Secondly, we didn't know the plays is the point, because your coach has already, and by the way, maybe detrimentally to the fan base, admitted that he changed the plays and the play signs, the play calls. He's admitted that. Detrimentally to you, I know, because you guys want to stand in that you were wronged somehow, but your coach has already debunked that, unfortunately for you and the rest of the fan base. Just like they said, Major League, they're one thing left to do with the hope and thing. Absolutely. They've done Michigan a favor. They've eliminated trap games for Michigan because of this. Michigan is never going to go through the motions against anyone this year. Facts. There will be no trap games because everybody is on point in that Michigan locker room. They will be ready. It's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad this weekend for Purdue, unfortunately, and for anyone else. Yo, Matt, can you please read off all the coaching changes that we had since 2018 to the present? These stupid people don't understand how Michigan got good. Facts, man. Talk about it. There was McDonald. There was Weiss. There was what's my guy that's in Maryland now? Gaddis. By the way, hide your mothers. To the recruits, hide your mama. The list goes on and on. I can't get it. We added Mike Elston. We added Mike Hart since then. Like it's crazy. We got real Michigan men on the staff that care about Michigan football. That's the bottom line. It's ridiculous. Right. Ben Herbert, Kirk Campbell. It's ridiculous, bro. Whose birthday is it? The Washington Post said an outside investigative firm began investigating UM this season for alleged sign stealing. Firm gained access to a drive maintained by Michigan coaches, which sounds illegal, by the way. Brought in Hart and Klink facts. Then explain how Ohio State killed Michigan in 19 if they changed everyone in 18. Well, everyone wasn't changed in 18, music for me 007. By the way, even if everyone was changed in 19, there's still, it's still a process. You got to work in your system and all of those things. Get the right recruits, get the right transfer. By the way, the transfer portal has been a godsend for Michigan. And in terms of beefing up that offensive and defensive line, should I list off those names for you? There isn't enough time. I don't have the time for it. I just want to address you guys. So there's that. You can do the research on that. I trust that you can work Google and things like that. Yes, we have to be cheating. It's not the fact we have the best strength and conditioning, best player development, 5 new coaches. No, it can't be that. We've got to be cheating. We made over 10 coaching changes. Facts. We've added countless players from the transfer portal. Impact players from the transfer portal. The truth will be told on this channel. Facts only. Facts only. Yes, he's the quarterback coach for JJ. Yeah. Kirk Campbell, new quarterbacks coach, because Matt Weiss, the old quarterback coach / OC, was doing weird stuff on the internet. He got let go. Simple. Don't do weird stuff on the internet. By the way, Ohio State fans are doing weird stuff on the internet every day. She thanks you for the happy birthdays. No doubt. Happy birthday to whoever that is. Again. Hopefully she can hear me. I would sing happy birthday, but I have a terrible voice. I get tired of talking about how Michigan get good. Exactly, man. One big Bucks fan is back. Shimmy State. Okay. All right. This is fair. This is fair. Stallions, Weiss, Young, Jimmy, etc., needs to improve on their background checks. I will concede this. Actually, I do think the University of Michigan football program specifically needs to do a better job of vetting some of these people. Weiss and Shimmy And Stallions and his 600-page manifesto should have never been in the positions they were in. I stand by that, and I will give you 1 point for one big Bucks fan who's been taking L's weekly, but I give you that. Matt Weiss, Zach Smith should get together and hang out. Right. They should start their own podcast. Pedophilia and wife beating. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Throw Yud in there too, whatever his name is. Can't believe they. By the way, I'm joking about that, and they should not start their own podcast called that. Can't believe Day has the nerve to say it's OSU against the world. Gotta be kidding. It's truly Michigan against the world. Absolutely. Ryan Day is a joke. All right. He's from New Hampshire. He's probably never had a fight in his life. This is the first real adversity he's had, losing to Michigan in back-to-back season. Ryan Day's spine is made out of tied together jellyfish. He's a joke. Isaiah Hole reported basically that coaches didn't know and Stallion had a side business to pay for it, was not university funded, and Ryan Day and family illegally obtained the information. Sounds like possibility to me. Absolutely. No attention to trolls, not worth it. They feed on playing with your anger. Switch fans. No. I want to, because I want to address them. I want to give them a chance. Wow, you gave me credit for truth. Thanks. I'll take hell. So I speak truth. All right. My comment section says differently. You go look under some of the videos you commented under. You've been handed some fresh L's, some hot L's right off the grill. But I will concede when you make a point, you make a point. That was a good point. I think Jim is old school. If he likes you, he'll give you a chance. But in this climate, you can't do it. I agree with that, Antoine. Good comment, by the way. And that could be detrimental. Apparently, it has the ability to be detrimental. In this case, Stallions, as I said, should have never been on those sidelines. He should have never had the autonomy that he had to do the things that he was doing. And Jim has to tighten up. I'll say that. Ryan Day's only fight was against a pillow that whipped his ass. Shout out to that. I'm honored that you call me out often. What about the other 9 people who are watching? Give them some love from time to time. Absolutely. Hey, if I have no problem showing love and respect. That's what this channel is about. Love and respect. Yeah, that's why Weiss is gone. Absolutely. Yeah, he's gone because he was a internet creep. You got to get rid of all those internet creeps for sure. What do you think about the report? Ohio State, the Day brothers being the one leaking info, starting this whole thing with the investigation. Yeah, I don't know if you were here when I brought this up a little earlier. I touched on this a little earlier, but yeah, man, it's disgusting. It's despicable. And if that is the case, obviously, we've got to take the NCAA, the Big Ten has to take a deeper look into Ryan Day in that program. I also want to be clear, though, that that Michigan has to stand in its own thing if, in fact, Michigan is found culpable for any of this, or Jim Harbaugh is found culpable for any of this. So I don't want to muddy the water with, but they got this information illegally, because I want to be completely honest. If a serial killer is in my neighborhood, right, and off some FBI person, illegally got into his computer to find out that, he was doing the serial killing, I don't really give a shit about the FBI person coming across that information or obtaining that information illegally. Get the serial killer, right? We'll deal with the FBI person later, who probably spent 6 months in jail. I don't know, whatever it is, right? But that's where I stand on that. Michigan has to stand in their own thing if, in fact, they are guilty of the thing. By the way, if is the key word here. They are guilty of the thing, and by all accounts and by all the measures, Santa Ono and the Michigan brass don't believe that Jim Harbaugh is culpable, or else he wouldn't be coaching this Saturday. Ryan Day is scared of Michigan. Absolutely, he is. Peter Thamel's just printing whenever Day tells him to. Absolutely. It seems like every day there's something new. Peter Thamel. Let's talk about this, because it seems like ESPN has an agenda, a clear agenda, as well as Fox Sports. And though Fox Sports agenda is in Michigan's favor, it's still an agenda. Let's be very clear. I want to be extremely clear. Follow the money. All right. Michigan, I'm sorry, not Michigan. The Big Ten, negotiated with all these television companies, the NBCs, CBSs, Fox, and even ESPN, ABC, Disney, basically. And Disney was the odd man out, which means that the ESPN, ABC will no longer have Big Ten games after this year or the next year, whenever that contract runs up, right? So they will no longer be in business with the Big Ten. You know who they are in business with, though? The SEC. And in terms of the powerhouse conferences, in terms of generating money, I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC are those conferences, right? So it makes sense for ESPN to prop up the SEC, and even if they're not propping up the SEC by talking about the SEC, bringing down the Big Ten by talking about the Big Ten in a negative way helps prop up their product, and their product is the SEC. On the other side, you have Fox doing the same exact thing, just in a positive light for, at this time, Michigan in the Big Ten, right? You have the Colin Cowherds over here that are saying this isn't a big deal and everybody does it. And over here, you have the Stephen A. Smiths and the Paul Feinbaums of the world saying, burn it all down. They are the worst cheaters in all of sports history, right? So we got to be clear about that and understand what we are watching and what is being done and what is being said, why it's being said, most importantly. And that is the case. And Peter Thamel writes for ESPN. Peter Thamel is apparently buddies with Ryan Day in addition to writing for ESPN. So it makes sense for him to drive this home. There is no bigger proof of what I am saying about the television networks and their alliances than a couple of weeks ago. And you can see on my channel, I did a video on this. Paul Feinbaum was Michigan's biggest supporter, right? He came out in support of Jim Harbaugh, a man that over the years he has absolutely crushed in the media. And not even a full week later, he is, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks later, exactly, he's come out and said, oh, I made the biggest mistake of my journalistic career when I backed Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. You know why he said that? Because the upper room at ESPN told him that was a massive mistake for your journalistic career. That's just the facts. Oh, for F's sake, this is so stupid. I mean, you guys want to crack on Ryan Day, that's fine, but to say he has anything to do with the investigation, it's just complete idiocy. You know who you sound like? Music for Me 007? Michigan fans who were saying, oh, this is complete idiocy when this whole thing broke. But as more information becomes available, you will realize some of the same facts that we had to realize. Connor Stallions is an absolute maniac. A maniac that will go down in Michigan legend, but a maniac. Ryan Day is an absolute jelly-backed, spineless head coach of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus that is terrified of Jim Harbaugh and terrified of Michigan football. And because of that, will go to lengths like getting his brothers to investigate Michigan. So, I mean, I get it. The first stage is denial. I was there. Some of these other guys can tell you we were all there. But I'm not gonna be like you guys. I'm not gonna be under Ohio State YouTube posts talking about, oh, wait your turn, it's coming, wait for it, and then hoping and praying that something comes. That's not gonna be me. Why keep pushing this OSU? We are not the ones that even teams like Purdue are calling out, by the way. Saw your boy Stallion stations. I don't know why you keep calling them stations. It's Stallions on Central Michigan and now Western Michigan sidelines. Again, I am not here to defend the actions of Connor Stallions. As I just got finished saying, Connor Stallions is a weirdo. All right? A goated one, but a weirdo. We know Ryan Day is soft, just like his fan base and team. Facts. Shout out to my guy, BX Stand Up, all the way from the Bronx, New York. Boxing Maniac. Be sure to follow, subscribe to his channel, by the way. Any boxing fan. Music from me, 007. Please try to stop with the profanity, however, to be expected from Buckeyes classless fans. Thank you, Dom. Thank you. By the way, I'm not trying to run any fans of the other state off. I mean, you're welcome here. Welcome to come and pause, spew your ignorance, or the facts about your program. If they're good facts or bad facts, whatever, man. Like this is a safe space for the other state as well, except for it's not a safe space. But you're welcome here anyway. OSU fans are trying to say this is all a troll by Zach Smith. The whole Michigan has documents thing. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Zach Smith actually tweet or on his show say something like, he started. It was a troll job that he started. That may be true. However, if that is true, that he started a troll job, what it has opened is the floodgates and actual information now to be found and disseminated. So even if he unknowingly was trolling, there is real paperwork and documents involved, real evidence that Ryan Day was aware and did in fact start this entire investigation. He is the genesis of the investigation. So either way, appreciate his service as a Marine. Absolutely. Anybody that served, put their life on the line for the country, deserves our respect. Doesn't take away the fact that he's a weirdo. Yes. This Sean Anthony, I need to brush up on my Spanish, but absolutely, I'm positive that was pro Michigan. Michigan is scum. Cool story, bro. Oh my god. I was good with Connor until you went over to CMU. And by the way, how the hell did they know to look on the sidelines for him? Hey, this is Connor's a wild boy, man. I will say that he had a whole mustache thing going on. He's got every day is Halloween for Connor Stallion. Shout out to that. If Connor is a maniac, so is Day. Amen to that. If it turns out that some or all the evidence was gathered illegally, it would set a horrible standard going forward. Programs will just keep breaking the law to get dirt on each other. I agree with this 1000%, Yellowbird. Show me one piece of evidence that Ryan Day is behind the investigation. I'll wait. One big Bucks fan. This is interesting. It's interesting that you say that because we asked for that same thing about Jim Harbaugh. We are still asking for that same thing about Jim Harbaugh, but we are here either way. Zach Smith is getting his own legal papers confused. That may be absolutely the truth as well. Michigan is going to work harder at finding the snitch than they do at hiring staffers. This is a decent troll right here. I like this one. Yes, I like that. That's a lot that Phil Triple M is rolling in fans from all over the country. I'm just stating a fact. Absolutely. Translate it later. I could have done worse. No doubt, man. Mellow number 7. The evidence came from that pedo computer. No doubt. Yeah, wow. Could you imagine being the guy who told Connor, dress up like Halloween, sneak onto the sidelines, 007 Stallions, this is your mission? Oh my God. That's good. That's good. M3, I have a scoop. Thanks to me, Urban Meyer, Mr. Promiscuous, will not be welcomed at Little Brother, but he'll end up at USC. Wow. That's a good take because I do think Riley is out of there. I think he wants to get away from there as fast as possible, considering the way that this season has ended up, especially if they get beat this weekend by Washington, which I expect they will. They still have to play Oregon. Things could get real Shabba ranks for USC in short term. And for those who don't know what that means, it means ugly. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Shabba ranks, but absolutely. The NCAA stated that coach is responsible for every employee in the football program. That is the only evidence you need. Yeah. See, the thing is, we don't really believe in the NCAA. So maybe it's what you need. For me, I need more than that, though. I need more than the NCAA saying, bad on you. This dude doesn't even know yet. I don't even know what this means. This is hilarious. Shaba. I I had to say it that way. AKA Brady, tell us what tell me, inform me, sir. Let me know what I don't know. After this year, Ryan Day will be joining Urban at USC. Michigan State fans still thinking Urban is coming. Hilarious. Urban's wife put the shabab on that. She stopped all that motion. There will be no Urban Meyer in East Lansing, unfortunately. Jim Harbaugh is stepping down. This is breaking. This is no bueno. Don't say things that aren't true, sir. Meaning with Jim Harbaugh's not stepping down. What are you talking about, man? You got me scouring the internet for nothing, Brady. Swear to God. What? I will flip this desk. Dan Wetzel, Michigan Fire Connor Stallions trying to separate itself from him and sort of admitting guilt. Ryan, you hurt my head so much, bro. This is very disturbed. I'm very disturbed. By the way, Ryan, you have taken some actions that really calls into question. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. This is disturbing. Yeah, this seems like an epic troll job. I'm gonna have to do some more digging because if this is true, I'm upset. I'm not joking. This live will be ended immediately. Because I'm gonna flip the desk. Just saying. Jim Harbaugh is not going anywhere. This is ridiculous. I knew I shouldn't have gave this any time. Good job, Brady. You got me. Good job. Thanks a lot. All right. We move on, guys. That was a good troll from Brady. I'm gonna block you for that. Blocking the hell out of Brady. Just give me a second. You're in timeout. Don't get us riled up here for nothing. It's real. Just saw a story. Holy crap. Oh no. Did I just ban Brady for nothing? Ginny Gang, where'd you see this story at? Let me know where you saw this story. I just scoured the internet. I saw nothing. By the way, guys, make sure this is not the truth. Ward is worthless. And, yeah. Ryan's just mad, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Ryan is an upset Notre Dame fan. I will concede that. They are going nowhere fast. He has not yet come to grips with that, but hopefully he does soon. If Jim Harbaugh steps down, what? Hold on. Kind of Stallions. You gotta break in. I'm seeing nothing. I got nothing. This would break the internet, by the way. I haven't seen anything. There's nothing. This is fake news. I'm moving on. All right. I'm moving on. Jesus. My heart palpitated. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it felt palpitations coming on. Jimmy doesn't need to step down. He won't get unemployment if he's not. Good one. He won't get unemployment. I like it. It would be on ESPN. I see nothing. You know, ESPN can't wait for something like that to happen. By the way, nothing. This is a nothing burger. Another nothing burger from the other state fans. If Jim was stepping down, he would do that the day before game. That's a fact. I believe that 1000%. Palpitations are a thing, and you used it correctly. Thank you, blank name. It was definitely palpitating. That was true. You Google Jim Harbaugh, would have been front and center. I see nothing. Yeah, it's not true. We're done. We're over it. It's an untruth, another lie told by those vile, disgusting, cesspool-written Buckeyes. Phil, read my comments, my guy. What do I need to read your comments for? You're saying a bunch of nothing. Here we go. People out here bashing Dan Wetzel for no reason. Dude is reliable. Cool. Michigan PR team. No, actually, Connor Stallions resigned as the job pursued new job opportunity at Barstool. I guess, man. Yeah. So that is that. Let's just get to your comments. Let's give some score predictions tomorrow. By the way, I think the other state beats Rutgers. I think the final score is going to be 20-7. Because they're going to struggle to get 23-7. I'll give them 23-7. The other state. I think Michigan blows the doors off of Purdue. I'm going nuclear 55-3. Final score. Give me your final scores for the Michigan Purdue game in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Moose says 21-14. I'm guessing that's for the other state. I know it is for the other state. 21-14, the other state over Rutgers in the Scarlet Knights. 24-6. Mello, which score is that? Let me know what score that is. 63-0 Michigan. I can see it. OSU 24. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought so. For which one, Mello? Yeah, because I guarantee we score more than that. 60+3. I can see that happening. It's going to be bad. It'll be 30-10 Ohio State unless Kyle's foot is healed and he can push off better. That's probably I can see that happening. Although that means they cover, and I've picked them not to cover. I'm going with Rutgers 17-14. Shout out to Brano. Real Michigan man right there. Shout out to Brano. Go blue. Purdue 0. Michigan 56. Yeah, that's about what I got it. I think I said 55-0. It could be 56-0. Absolutely. Zach Smith had Yoder on his show today. Yoder, please take him to the O State side. Man, listen. James, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to come after other channels on this channel. But that guy Special place. 70-0 Michigan. Shout out to Connor. I can see it, Connor. 70 donut. Rutgers over MSU 22-21. By the way, I don't want this to happen because I do want them to come in there undefeated and full of themselves, full of pride and positivity. But if that happens, if Rutgers beats the other state, what happens? They're going to implode. Heads will explode literally if that happens. Seth says 6-35. Seth, is this the Michigan Purdue game? 6-35, 62-3 Michigan. OSU 35-23. Sounds like it could happen. Again, they are speculating. It's a thing. There's a relationship. This is an argument for weeks, yet nothing. Absolutely, Dave. It's been a lot of speculation. It's been a lot of false accusations. Been a lot of just accusations, period. And nothing has come from anything as of right now. So I don't know. Is Honda McCord a gimp right now? The Honda McCord, all those miles, those 700 plus miles on those dry rotted tires. Who knows? Zach and Yoder are terrible. Facts. There's zero chance that Michigan scores more than 9 points. Mello, you're my guy, bro. You're my guy. This might be the worst take of all time. 24-6. I can see that score though. That seems like a legit score. Psychotic people for sure. Michigan 87 to donuts. Stay mad, Purdue coach. The Purdue coach is very upset. I wish he would have come on the show. We need to get the Purdue coach on the show because he's upset. 27-10 OS who? I like it. Michigan fans are in denial again, man. Whether scum fans like it. Now you're calling us scum? Yo, this is gross, right? All right. Guys, you might know when me and Ryan started doing the Maize Blue and Gold show, Ryan was like, "Oh man, I actually, I don't hate Michigan. I don't, I like Michigan." And he was talking real heavy and reckless about the other state and how Notre Dame was going to take care of business, and Ohio State is overrated, this and that, blah 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 blah. And now they've lost to the other state. That Stockholm syndrome with Ryan has really set in. Like the years of losing to the other state have really seeped into the mind. They've beaten Ryan so bad, so often, in such devastating ways that in Notre Dame, by the way, that now Notre Dame fans have teamed with Michigan State fans and Ohio State fans to form this jellyfish spined, by the way, Voltron to try to come after Michigan. It's disgusting, Ryan. It doesn't suit you. You can do better. Michigan can't score 56. Okay, bro. Yoder is a dumbass. You said that, not me, but he is. Michigan can score 80 if they want to. Absolutely. All depends on Harrison. If he's under control, Rutgers could win it. Their quarterback had been developing. I mean, I like what I saw out of their quarterback. He completed a couple big throws against Michigan, including, of course, that slant that went for a long touchdown. I do think he leaves a lot to be desired as a passer, but, he's been developing and progressing positively. I don't think they beat the other state, though. They just don't have the horses to do it. We don't want Steve. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants Steve. Well, score. I would like a hard-fought game, wishing for a Rutgers miracle, but State 27-17. That seems like a legit score. That could happen. Another scoop, the NCAA sends a high school officiating crew from Mississippi to ref the game. Shiano lies down. Former Buckeye coach. That's true. He is. I like this take, Dom. Yoder is mentally challenged. This may also be true. Yoder is the only real scum fan on the web. Wow. Yoder's a real fan? Okay. My feelings are hurt, one big Bucks fan. You come here weekly. We have these interactions, and Yoder is the fan? This is crazy. This is unreal. Yoder is the king of fake stories with no sources. Absolutely, he is. OSU 35, Rutgers 7, because OSU is our daddy, and I want daddy to win. Shout out to Ryan. Why is everyone so mad at Yoder? Yeah, I'm not touching it. I rock with Yoder, but he looked like a goofy pandering to OSU fan base today. Yeah, if he was on Zach Smith's show, man. Again, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say anything bad about other creators. And Yoder, to his credit, has created his own like media company, and it's doing pretty well. So shout out to him for that. And I know he's come after a couple Michigan media guys. And maybe that's been a back and forth thing. I really don't know enough about the history of that to like really comment on it. I do know that he said some things that I don't necessarily agree with, and that's just on like a personal level. But whatever. I really am indifferent to him. I've watched his show. I think he does good for what he's bringing to the table. So I will say that. But to each their own. Mr. Ugly Man skit from In Living Color Triple M. Just Yoder was talking all kind of crazy about other people on that show. I'm sure he was, man. Ryan, it's wild takes again. Michigan can't score 56. It's a joke, I know. Ryan doesn't even believe that. Michigan gets his first punt return, 56-10. Okay. OSU 24, Michigan 14. Cool story, bro. Yoder, Ryan, you still haven't explained, like, what is your problem? Is it just because you need the other state to win to like help prop up Notre Dame? I'm still trying to understand the vitriol that you have for Michigan. That's pretty weird. It's weird stuff, man. Yoder speaks truth. Cool. Zach is doing very well, Seth. I don't think he cares about your opinion. Whoa. F Ohio State, yes. Yes. You mean back in 2019 when Stallions was caught helping y'all cheat? Yes, I don't. Ryan is very upset about something that doesn't even involve him. What happened in 2018, Moose, when y'all didn't have Stallions to help you? I'm guessing we lost. I don't know. Anyway, we have been on for over an hour. I've touched on the things I really wanted to touch on. I appreciate each and every one of you for rocking with me. Even one big Bucks fan, even Mellow number 7, who was very feisty tonight, by the way. Shout out to you, Mellow. Music Forever 007. Shout out to all the Bucks fans that came through to get their asses handed to them tonight. And of course, shout out to my Michigan fandom, Dom, Antoine, Moose. The list goes on and on. I can't name everyone. Even shout out to my guy, my partner, my co-host of the Maize Blue and Gold show, Ryan, who continuously says weird things like, I genuinely think OSU is better. They have the best defense in college football and shut down 2 top 10 teams completely. Yeah, I mean, so here's my thing. Even if you thought they were better, because that's completely and utterly possible. And I'm sorry, Brando, 2-time support, bro. Keep rocking for sure, man. I appreciate that. Even if you thought they were better, like you have taken some wild stances here some very inflammatory things that you've said. Like, I mean, but I get it. It's cool. I'm not gonna argue with you. It is what it is. Shout out to you, Mello. Appreciate it. Didn't Yoder say he was 99% sure that Harps was bolting to the NFL last year? He did. I don't know, man. I don't know. October 29, 19. Shout out to Dom. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Until next time, stay angry, my friends.